You think you big stuff, don't you? Because you killed one white man. That's your score. 1. You know, for 10 years, we were up there on the border, sending your freedom fighting brothers to hell. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2. We were into double figures, man. One amazing bloody day. I did the rounds. I counted 27 of them that we'd blown away. To kingdom come. Yeah, 27, Opal. Do you have the remotest idea what that means? What it feels like to count 27 dead men? Hey, you have to have a strong stomach for it, my friend. I was too revved up at the time to feel anything. When you're in the middle of something like that, and you got your finger on the trigger of that R3, there's only one thing in your head. You're alive, kid. Keep it that way. Stay bloody well alive. And we came back that way a few days later. Oh man, it was terrible. A man starts smelling bad the minute he's dead. But when he's been lying out there in the sun for a few days, believe me, I wasn't exaggerating when I said you can't eat your food afterwards. And me and another chap, we was detailed to take the bodies and dump them in a big hole. When we got there, I see this old woman come out of the bush and stand there and watch us. She didn't do or say anything. She just stood there watching. So we back the lorry up to the hole. He grabs the hand, I grab the leg, drag it to the edge, and then into the hole. All the time I was doing this, I had this strange feeling like it reminded me of something. I couldn't remember what it was. And the old woman was still standing there and watching us. I couldn't take it anymore, so I started shouting and screaming at her and telling her to go away. While I was doing that, suddenly it came to me. The thing I was trying to remember. It was that time we was on holiday at Mossel Bay. I was just a little oakie in a khaki broek. Every day, me and my dad would take his fishing rods and go down to the rocks. My job was to catch him the small little fishes in the rock pools for him to use as bait. So one day, I catch this lekker fat little fish and I'm all excited and I start to cut it up. Then here, man, hundreds of little babies jump out of its stomach onto the rock. Just so big. Little babies, man. They already has little black dots where their eyes is going to be. Jumping around there on the rock. And the mother fish also, with her stomach hanging open where I'd cut her. Wagging her tail there on the rock. And I looked down at all of this and I knew, man. I just knew that what I had done was a terrible sin. Any way you look at it, whether you believe in all that stuff about heaven and hell and God Almighty or not, it makes no difference. What I had done was a sin. You can't do that to a mother and her babies. I don't care what it is, whether it's a fish or a dog or another person. It's wrong. So what the hell was going on, man? And there I was on the back of that lorry, doing it again. Only this time, it was some men I was throwing into that hole. Maybe one of them was that woman's son. Maybe I had killed him. That did it. Something just went inside me and it was snot and tears like I never cried in my whole life. Not even when I was small. I got off that lorry and I went over to where that old woman had been standing. She was gone. I wanted to tell her about that little boy. I wanted to tell her that he knew what was right and wrong. I don't know what happened to him, what went wrong in his life, but he didn't want to grow up to be a man throwing other men into a hole. He didn't want to be me.